Today, I'm very excited to welcome Fahman Toriki to the Low Season Traveller podcast, Insider Guides. Fahman is the Chief of Tourism Destination and Attractions for Lombok and Gili Islands in Indonesia. Located just east of Bali, Lombok is known for their beautiful white sandy beaches and incredible surf spots. Tucked away in the northwest of Lombok sit the three beautiful Gili Islands, Gili Trawangan, also known as Gili T, Gili Meno and Gili Air. These beautiful vehicle-free islands are the perfect place for relaxing on the beach, snorkeling, and awesome turtle spotting. We discuss on today's podcast the difference of Bali and Lombok, the role of tourism after natural disasters, and all the sights that Lombok and Gili Islands have to offer. Hope you enjoy. Thank you very much, Fahman, for being on our podcast today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
It's so pleasure for me. Thank you.
So first I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your role at Wonderful Indonesia and a bit about you.
Well, I'm currently working at Tourism Department of North Lombok Regency. Actually, I've been in tourism industry for the last 20 years. I've been working in Bali for 10 years and now Lombok 10 years. So I'm in charge in developing tourism destination, actually in northern part of Lombok, including Gili Islands and Rinjani.
So one question I like to ask all of my guests is, when you step out of your home in Lombok, what do you see, hear and smell?
Well, actually, because my house is near to the beach, so when I step out of my door, I can hear the sounds of waves, and then I can feel the fresh air and Mount Rinjani in the distance, and sometimes motorbikes, because many people in Lombok rides motorbikes, and of course daily activity with local people with their unique culture, traditions, and etc.
Is that the Sasak people that you're talking about?
Yes, it's a Sasak people. People in Lombok, it's Sasak tribe, and they're Muslims, and 90% of them are Muslims.
Okay, that's quite different to Bali, because Bali's Hindu, isn't it?
Yes, is it?
So I wanted to focus a little bit on the Gili Islands first. I know there's 3 separate islands and they all have a different feel to them and people go to them for different reasons. So could you tell us a little bit about those?
Actually, even though these 3 islands are next to each other and share a name, they tend to be a very different. Actually, each one has a different vibe and offers a different experience. If you have seen one, you definitely not seen them all. So if you get an opportunity to go all 3, be sure to do that. And I will start with Gili Trawangan. So Gili Trawangan is the biggest of the 3, and it's considered as a party island. The vibe in Gili Trawangan is more bohemian, and there are very many things that you can do while here. If you are the kind of person who loves to be out there meeting the people, have the party, so this is a fantastic choice. I mean, but of course, because it's a bigger, more developed, many people visit Gili Trawangan, and it's easy for you to find good accommodations, great shops, and excellent spas, things like that.
So are the majority of tourists going to Gili T? Is that the most popular island?
Yes, it's the most popular islands. And I would like to talk about Gili Meno. Gili Meno is more remote compared to Gili Island. The beach is more quiet, but of course there's hotels, restaurants, and compared to Gili Trawangan, Gili Meno is more suitable for honeymooners, and because this island won the best halal honeymoon destination 2 years in a row in 2016 and 17. And then Gili Air. Gili Air is offers alternative social scene. Um, you can do a lot of water sport, hang out for a drink, enjoy a meal, socialize. So we try to differentiate these three islands. So to make it easy. So when you're single, just go to Trawangan to meet a friend. And then once you get married and want to have a honeymoon, go to Gili Meno. And when you have a kids, go to Gili Air.
Perfect.
That's, yeah.
You can spend your whole life and sort of transition on your life journey across the Gili Islands in paradise. That sounds
Exactly. Yeah.
perfect to me. So you mentioned that there's a lot of water sports and snorkeling. I know that that's a really good place for scuba diving and snorkeling as well.
Yeah, because all the three Gilis, they are popular for diving because they have a great diving spots. You can find rare blue corals. It's only a few in the world. So that's why it's really popular.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to go snorkeling there, and we actually came across turtles, which was amazing.
Yeah,
And
there are plenty of them, yes.
yeah, and they seem pretty relaxed with people, and you can sort of just swim by them, and it's amazing. It's majestic.
Yeah, it's true.
And I know another great thing about the Gili Islands is there's absolutely no cars.
Yes, exactly. So the only transportation is we call it chidomo. It's a horse and then bicycle. Yeah.
So,
there's no
people are riding the horse, or they're in a carriage being pulled by a horse?
in a carriage van. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you can get around the island with that.
Great. And is there transport between the islands as well?
Yes, by boat. The boat is connected Gili Island to Lombok, but also in terms of three islands. So if you want to go to Gili Air, from Gili Air to Gili Meno to Trawangan, so there is always available a boat.
And now I want to know a little bit more about Lombok. I know you work in the northern part. Could you tell us a little bit more about Lombok as well?
All right. Actually, when you hear about Lombok, it's for decades. Tourists have only known Lombok as a Bali sister island, outshined by the reputation of Bali. But now tourism started to develop in this island, and people start coming. But of course, compared to Bali, it's quite different in terms of people living here. In Bali, it's Hindu, Lombok is Muslim. But in terms of natural resources, we have plenty of them. We can see waterfalls, volcanoes. We have a lot of what can I say, beaches, and then it's less crowded, not so many traffic, but of course you can still having fun, do the adventure. I think that's all I can say.
So I know that Bali has obviously suffered a lot of over tourism, and admittedly that is from Australians. Unfortunately, we do not have a good reputation in Bali, and we have really what seems like influenced the culture there a little bit because there is so many Australians that visit. I remember going there and they were selling AFL jerseys, which is the Australian Football League in Bali, and I just found that gobsmacking. I couldn't believe that I could buy my team's jersey in a completely different country. So has Lombok suffered much over tourism, or is it still really developing and still quite a quiet island?
We consider ourselves still developing, except certain location like Gili Island, especially Gili Trawangan. So during the high season, I can say that it's hard to find accommodations in Gili Trawangan, actually, especially. So during the New Year, for instance, you can see the tourists sleeping on the beach because they can get accommodation. That's what happens.
Wow. So they're still going there even though they haven't booked anything and are just crashing on the
Um,
beach.
yeah, because sometimes they staying at other part of Lombok, like Senggigi, like Kuta Beach, and they want to celebrate the New Year to Trawangan, and without they think that they can get accommodation, but it's full during the high season, of course. Yeah,
Right. So when is the high season for Lombok and Gili Islands?
like other part of Indonesia, our low season will be from October to May, except December and January because it's Christmas and New Year period. Yeah,
Great. And I know as well that Gili Islands and Lombok have suffered quite a lot of natural disaster as well. There was a large earthquake back in 2018. Has that
yeah.
changed the way that tourism has now developed?
Actually, it's really it's hit our tourism industry at the time because it's really devastating. It's destroyed our public facilities, but we can recover. I can say pretty quickly from the earthquakes because uh, we still have our airport. It's 100% safe. Our harbor is safe. The road is okay. All the government office is working 100%, including electricity, internet. So it helps us to recover, and we have a support from national government. And after that, we're trying uh, to get the business back. We try to promote Lombok that now Lombok is a safe destinations, and then we do the trauma healing for the victims, for the local people. Actually, when it's happened, we evacuate about 8,000 international tourists and local from Gili Island. It took us 48 hours to evacuate all of them, and then around 800 climbers in Mount Rinjani. It took us 3 days to evacuate them. But from the quick response, and then people start coming back to Lombok, even though our occupancy is down to nearly 37% compared to the same period last year. But business start coming back, and then the development is continuous. Like Lombok is one of a top 10 priority destination in Indonesia, and the big project is still going on. And next year on 2021, we have a MotoGP race.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Oh, tell me
yeah,
more about that, Farman. That's so exciting.
yeah. Actually, um, the southern part of Lombok, it's called Mandalika. It's a huge project going on. So it's like almost 12,000 hotel rooms will be built. And five-star hotels is on the constructions. And then we already signed up the agreement to hold the GP on 2021. So we also already opened a new flight connectivity with Australia, but Perth. So people from Perth now can come to Lombok. We have a direct access. And of course, all infrastructure, roads, airport, it's all expanded for the big event.
So what months is the MotoGP in?
Um, the circuit will be ready on August, and the GP will be around November, December. Yes, end of the year. But it is already you can yeah. Actually, you can already can book the ticket.
Oh, you can book the tickets now.
Yeah. Uh,
Good to know. Good to know. That's going to be such a fantastic thing to restart tourism, especially after this pandemic.
yeah.
That's an awesome way
Yeah.
to really
We
get
hope.
people to the island, develop the hotel rooms, and just hopefully really grow tourism there. Because, after so many natural disasters, tourism is so important to help rebuild places.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I hope you get a lot of tourists there for that. That sounds like an awesome event to have.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask a little bit more about the beaches and surf in Lombok. I know a lot of people come there for the great waves. What area of Lombok is the best to surf?
To surf is southern part of Lombok. It's the best surf spot, not only in Lombok but in Indonesia. So many professional surfers come to Lombok. It's near Kuta Beach in
Hmm.
Lombok. Because Kuta Beach is not only in Bali, we also have a Kuta Beach. The name is Kuta, exactly the same.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that. I remember going to Bali and hearing of Kuta and then seeing it in Lombok as well, and I was confused.
yeah, yeah. Confusing, but yeah, we have a great surfing spot over there.
And I know as well that there is a massive volcano in Lombok,
Yeah.
and hiking has become a really big thing that people are traveling there for.
Yes, exactly. So we have Mount Rinjani. It's amazingly beautiful. It's the second highest mountain in Indonesia. So Rinjani, it's considered the best trekking in Southeast Asia now. We have so many awards. Also, Rinjani is now by UNESCO. It's become global geopark. So not only national park, but also geopark.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. And I know that there's a lot of waterfalls as well, correct?
we have a dozen of them, and each one of them is unique. And uh, in northern part itself, it's around 18 waterfalls.
Just in the
And
northern part.
yes, because we all of Rinjani is the center of the island. So
Hmm.
surrounding Mount Rinjani, it's full of forests, waterfalls, and I would say this is what people like. They come to waterfall to do some adventures, soft trekking if they uh, cannot go to Mount Rinjani because it's too high, and they just visit waterfall, visit the villages.
What kind of villages are around the waterfalls?
Um, some people, we have a lot of traditional villages that people still keep their architectures like ancient times. So they keep the tradition, the way of life. So that's very interesting if you have a time to see the way of people live in Lombok.
Great, so people can visit the villages?
Yes, they are open for. They're really open for tourists. We also have a tour guide if you need one.
I was going to ask what the best way to get around Lombok is. Is it hiring a tour guide? Is it doing it yourself, going on a motorbike? What do you think the best way to do it is?
Um, of course, it's we don't have so many public transport like in Australia,
Mm.
but it's easy to get around. With tour guide, or if you want to rent a car or motorbike by yourself. And most of our top destination you can find on the Google Map now, so it's easy to get around. Yeah,
I highly recommend, though, if anyone is going to hire a motorbike, please take a lesson if you don't know how to do it and wear a helmet.
exactly. Yes.
And that comes from experience, and I don't want to go into it. But I tried it once, and then for the rest of the time, I rode on the back of my friends. I wasn't going to do it again. So it's good to know that
Yeah.
people can hire a car as well if you do not feel comfortable riding a motorbike.
Yes, exactly.
So, do Gili Island and Lombok have similar low seasons?
Yes, actually exactly the same. Not only Gili and Lombok, but also many part of Indonesia. So many of our visitors or tourists from in Gili Trawangan now it's come from Bali, so they can easily access Gili Trawangan by fast boat. So the majority of uh, visitors, because the airport it's quite far if you want to if you come by plane, and to get to the northern part, it's quite far. So if you are in Bali and want to go to Gili Island, so it's the fastest way is to take the fast boat. So it's only 1 hour.
Okay, so it's easiest to fly into Bali. I know they have a big international airport and then get a boat.
Yeah, actually, that's the option. Um, from Bali to Lombok, so if you use plane, it's only take 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. But from the airport to Gili Island, it's quite far.
Okay. Is much of the tourism situated in the north of Lombok? Is that why?
Um, Now, because Gili Island is one of the most popular tourism destinations, now the majority of tourists come to North Lombok, and we have a Singigi beach on western part. But our biggest tourism development now is on the south.
With the
So
MotoGP.
yeah, with the MotoGP, everything with a 5 stars hotel. So all around area will be developed as tourist destination. But still, you can visit some places in central area where there's a lot of waterfalls, traditional villages, and etc.
So if people were looking to hike and go to the villages, they would go to Central and South Lombok.
To the villages. Actually, the traditional villages is spread around the island. In central Lombok, northern part of Lombok, and interestingly, if you go to the western part of Lombok, you can see a lot of Balinese temple. So that's
Really?
why, yeah, because based on the history, when in Indonesia there's a lot of kingdoms, Balinese, they rule Lombok, and that's why still a lot of Balinese temple. You can see the Balinese tradition in Lombok. They have a Nyepi Day. You can found many Hindu people in western part of Lombok. That's why we use that in our tourism marketing. You can see Bali from Lombok, but you cannot see Lombok from Bali.
Ah, very smart. I like that a lot, Fahman.
Yeah.
So you can get everything you want out of Bali and Lombok only visiting Lombok.
Yes, exactly.
That's very smart marketing from you, Fahman. So, satay, nasi goreng, mee goreng, all absolute Indonesian delicacies. But what I want to ask you today, what are the foods that we don't know about? What is the food that's, at your local restaurant at the end of the street? What do the Sasak people eat? What are the secrets of the foods in Lombok and Gili?
We have pelecing. That's the Lombok is very famous for this. It's a water spinach, and it's
Water
spicy.
spinach?
Yes,
Mm.
and it's spicy because actually Lombok means in Lombok it's in Indonesia it means spicy. So if you talk about Lombok if you talk about Lombok food, most of them are spicy. And we also have a satay, but in different kind of satay. It's a local satay with not only meat, but we have from fish and other seafood.
So if you want
try.
spicy food,
Yes,
go to Lombok.
go to Lombok, exactly.
Fantastic. So can you tell me exactly what water spinach is? I have to admit, it is not the most tempting title of food. What is it exactly?
What can I say? Actually, it's live on the water.
Mm-hmm.
They usually and on a lake, and it's fresh. It's nice. It's delicious. Yeah, I can say.
I mean, people are just going to have to try it to find out for themselves then.
Yes, yes.
Well, Fahman, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been wonderful to talk to you. I am very excited for Lombok having the MotoGP. It sounds awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Fahman from Wonderful Indonesia for joining us today. Make sure you get your tickets to the MotoGP for next November and visit these paradise islands. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful week. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and social network. Stay safe and healthy, keep your travel dreams alive, and more now than ever, travel is better without the crowds.